Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to Double Reward. Inshallah, we have a new participant with us today who's going to be reading with us, and I would like to go straight to introducing him. Taha, how are you?
Fine, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Taha, where are you from?
America.
MashaAllah. You're from America. Where from in America?
Virginia.
MashaAllah. How old are you?
12.
12. That's very good. And what are you hoping to accomplish with the Qur'an?
Inshallah, the whole thing.
You want to memorize the whole thing? That's very good. You know, I salute you, and I ask Allah to help you. Inshallah, and I know you can do it. Okay? Are you ready to read the Qur'an with us today?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go straight into Surah Al-Falaq. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about Surah Al-Falaq. Surah Al-Falaq has so many beautiful scenes in it, beautiful pictures in it. It describes the night when it overspreads. As you move through your day and the light starts to diminish, and then a blanket of darkness starts to cover everything, and then you can't see. At this time you might become afraid, and it's a cause of fear. Another picture that's in Surah Al-Falaq, it describes the dawn or the daybreak, when the sun is just coming up. And the surah reminds us or tells us that we have to seek refuge in the one who created the daybreak and who created the dawn, and who created the nightfall when the darkness overspreads everything. So when you feel fear at any one of these times, you should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you. Okay, let's go straight into the surah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge in Allah from Satan the accursed. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Say, I seek refuge with the Lord of the daybreak. مِن شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ. From the evil of what He has created. وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ. And from the evil of the darkening night, as it comes with its darkness. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. And from the evil of those who practice witchcraft when they blow in the knots. وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ. And from the evil of the envier when he envies. Okay, inshallah, now let's practice all together. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
قل أعوذ برب الفلق.
قل أعوذ برب الفلق.
من شر ما خلق.
من شر ما خلق.
ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب.
ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب.
ومن شر النفاثات في العقد.
ومن شر النفاثات في العقد.
ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
قل أعوذ برب الفلق.
قل أعوذ برب الفلق.
من شر ما خلق.
من شر ما خلق.
ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب.
ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب.
ومن شر النفاثات في العقد.
ومن شر النفاثات في العقد.
ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
قل أعوذ برب الفلق.
قل أعوذ برب الفلق.
من شر ما خلق.
من شر ما خلق.
ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب
ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب
ومن شر النفاثات في العقد
ومن شر النفاثات في العقد
ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد
ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
Okay, now let's practice, have some individual recitations. Ahmed, can you read that surah for us?
Yes. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
That's very good. Good job. Excellent.
Thanks.
Let's go back to that word khalaq.
Okay.
Remember when we were looking at the kha sound?
Yeah.
We said there was kha, khi, and khu. Okay. I feel like I didn't hear that sound from you, that you were articulating it completely.
Okay.
So could you say the word khalaq?
خلق.
Good. You got to remember now when you're reading, you got to pronounce every single letter. Every single letter matters. Every single letter is Qur'an.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Good job.
Thanks.
That was very good, mashallah. All right, Osama, can you read that surah for us too?
إن شاء الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
Okay, good job, good job. But there are a couple of issues here. First of all, if you noticed when I was reading, I said, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Did you hear that sound at the end?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to talk about what that sound means and how you find it and how to pronounce it, but if you could just now use your ear and try to say that with me. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ.
قل أعوذ برب الفلق.
Good. Very good. Excellent. Okay. Feiruz, can you read that for us, please?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
Very good. Excellent. Good job. Let's actually practice that verse that we worked on with you, Osama. Okay? Let's practice that all together to make sure we get that sound at the end. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ.
قل أعوذ برب الفلق
قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ.
قل أعوذ برب الفلق
قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ.
قل أعوذ برب الفلق.
Okay, good. Now, if you notice, there's an issue here. Sometimes when you're learning the Qur'an, you're going to first learn how to say it and learn how to pronounce it, and then later on, you'll figure out why and what's going on. And sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes you learn what the rule is, and then you learn how to pronounce it. So you've got both of those things going. All right, now, let's get back to our letters that we were working on before, so that we make sure we've got those down. Now, if you remember, last time we did the ra sound, and now we're going to start out, inshallah, with the zay. Okay, let's say that all together. Zay.
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 Now, you can see on your screen that you've got 3 letters. The first one on the right has a fatha on top of it. Okay? And that's pronounced za. Say that with me. Za.
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 Okay? The second one in the middle, that has a kasra underneath it, and that's pronounced z. Let's say that, repeat after me. Z.
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 Good. Now, that third one has a dhamma on top of it, and that's pronounced zoo. Repeat after me. Zoo.
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 Okay, now for some examples. Let me ask our participants here. Can you guys think of any word that starts with the zai sound? Fairuz, why don't you tell us?
Zaytun.
Zaytun. Very good. Zaytun. Let's say that all together. Zaytun.
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 All right, what does that mean? Ahmed, do you know what the word zaytun means?
Yes. Olive.
Very good. Excellent. Olive. Now, the question we want to ask is, though, that first sound in the very beginning of zaytun, does that sound like za, or does it sound like z, or does it sound like zu? Taha, you think you're brave enough to answer that question?
Yes.
Zaytun, what does that sound like? Does that sound like za, or does it sound like z, or does it sound like zu? Zaytun.
Za.
Great, excellent, very good. And that's true. Zaytun does start with a fatha, and it has a za sound in the very beginning. Now, let's move on to the next letter, which is sin. And inshallah, you're going to see that coming up on your screen. Okay, let's pronounce that word. Sin.
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 Okay, now remember that first letter on the right, that has a fatha, okay? And that's pronounced sa. Let's say that together. Sa.
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 Okay, the one in the middle, that has a line underneath it, and that's called a kasra. And let's practice that too. Si. Say that with me. Si.
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 Okay, and the final one on the very left, that has a mark on top. That mark is called a dhamma, and that letter is pronounced su. Say that with me. Su.
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 Okay, let's make sure we're pronouncing this word correctly. Ahmed, can you pronounce those three vowels for me? Those three letters.
Sa
Uh-huh.
with a fatha.
Good.
Si
Uh-huh.
with a kasra. And su with a
Good.
dhamma.
Good. I like to see the fact that your mouth is moving, but can you go like this? Si, sa, su.
Si, sa, su.
Good, good. When you're pronouncing the Qur'an, it's very good to move your lips because that helps you to articulate more clearly and to pronounce the sound better. All right. Can any one of our participants think of a word that begins with the sin? MashaAllah, you got a lot of words. Fairuz? Okay, go ahead. Why don't you tell us?
Sayna.
Sayna. Okay, so now the question is, what does sayna sound like? Does it sound like a fatha, sayna, sa, or does it sound like a kasra, si, or does it sound like a dhamma, su? Osama, you think you can answer that question?
A fatha.
A fatha, because it's sayna.
No.
What would the first sound be, Osama, if it had a kasra on it?
Sina.
Exactly, excellent. And what would it sound like if it had a dhamma on it?
Suna.
Exactly, very good, excellent. All right, inshallah, that's enough. We're going to cover those. We've finished with these letters, and inshallah, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the letters. Inshallah, we'll see you when you come back. Assalamu alaikum.
Allah the Most High and Merciful says, "Invite to the way of your Lord with wisdom and fair preaching." Do you want to join Huda in calling to Allah? Do you want to spread the message like the prophets did? Do you want to share in the blessings and rewards? Why not support Huda towards these noble aims? Why not sponsor a program of your choice? If you would like to help Huda in spreading the correct message of Islam, please send an email to support@huda.tv or call +2 014 327 1771 for more details, or fax +2 023 8555 251.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Inshallah, we're working on our letters. The next letter which you're going to see coming up on your screen is the sheen sound. Let's say that all together. Sheen.
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 Okay, now remember that first letter that you can see on your right, that letter is pronounced sh. Say that with me. Sh.
Sha.
Sh.
Sha.
Sh.
Sha.
That second letter, that's pronounced she. Say that with me. She.
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 And let's move on to that third letter, which is shu. Shu. Say that with me.
Shoe.
Shoe.
Shu.
Shoe.
One more time. Shu.
Shoe.
Shu.
Shoe.
Shu.
Shoe.
Now at this point you might start getting a little embarrassed because you're making all these strange sounds. Ji, ja, ju, shi, sha, shu. But that's okay because we're practicing and we're learning. Now let's try to think of some words, and while our participants here are coming up with some words, try to think of your own words too at home or wherever you are. Are there any examples of words that begin with the sheen sound?
Shams.
Taha. Could you one more time?
Shams.
Shams. Okay. Let's say that together. Shams.
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 Okay. Now we're going to ask. We're going to come up with a way to find out what the. Now the question we want to ask is, well, what does that have on it? That sheen. Does it have a fatha, a kasra, or a dhamma? So the first thing you do when you got a word, and you're trying to figure out what mark or what vowel is on that first letter, whether it's a fatha, a dhamma, or a kasra, the first thing you do is just take it out of the word. Okay? Take it out and say, shams. That first letter, that's a sheen. Okay? Then after you take it out, say, okay, now what are the three ways? I know the three ways. The first way is sha. The second way is she. The third way is shu. Now, let me say that word again. Shams. Oh, that sounds like sha. So that must be a fatha. Okay? So when you got a word and you're wondering, what does that letter have on it? You know, you can use that technique. Okay? Do we have other words that we can think of that have that start with a sheen? Osama, why don't you tell us?
Shajara.
Shajara. Shajara. Okay. Fairuz, what does that have on it? A fatha, a kasra, or a dhamma?
A fatha.
How did you know?
Because the beginning of it is sha.
Okay.
Yeah, so sha has a fatha on top of it.
Okay, what would it sound like if it had a kasra on it?
She. Shijara.
Good. And what would it sound like if it had a dhamma on it?
Shu. Shujara.
Okay, of course those are not those second two words are not words at all, but that's what it would sound like. Very good. Okay, now let's move on to our next letter, which is Sad. You can see that coming up on your screen, inshallah. Okay, let's practice. Repeat after me. Sad.
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 Okay. Now, the first letter you see on your right that has a fatha on it, and that is pronounced saw. Repeat after me. Saw.
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 The one in the middle that has a kasra on it, that line at the bottom. And we pronounce that si. Say that with me. Si.
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 Now, that third letter you see on the very left, that has a dhamma on it, and that's pronounced su. Repeat after me. Su.
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 Now, you got to be careful with your sad, because if you don't purse your lips and say sad when you pronounce it, the letter's not going to come out right. In fact, it might even sound like a seen. Okay? And actually, that is the basic difference between those two letters. The sad is full-mouthed. You purse your lips when you say it. Whereas the seen, you're going to open your mouth and pull the corners back a little bit. So let's practice those two letters to make sure that we have them straight. Feiruz, can you say the Seen for me with the Fatha, the Kasra, and the Dhamma?
Sa with the Fatha,
Uh-huh.
Si with the Kasra, and Su with the Dhamma.
Okay, now could you give us the Sad?
Sa with
Okay.
the Fatha, Si with the Kasra, and Su with the Dhamma.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Good job. Let's practice that one more time. Ahmed, why don't you tell me? Can you pronounce the three diacritical marks, or the three vowels, or the Fatha, the Kasr, and the Dhamma, with
Yes.
the Seen and the Sad?
Sure. Sa, Si,
Oh, wait a minute. What letter are you starting out with? The Seen or the Sad? Why don't you start out with the Seen?
the Sin,
Uh-huh.
Sa,
Okay.
Si, Su.
Okay, that kind of sounds to me like a Sad. So let's practice that.
Okay.
Sa.
Sa.
Good. You see the difference between Sa and Sa?
Yeah.
The Seen sound is a little bit more gentle and soft.
Mhm.
Okay? Okay, go ahead. Give me the Seen again.
Sa,
Okay, good.
Si,
Okay,
Su.
Su. Okay, you see how moving your lips, you see how that helps
Yeah.
articulate the letter better? Okay, now give me the Sad.
Sa,
Okay,
Si,
okay.
Su.
Okay, let's make that a stronger Sad. Okay, try to purse your lips a little bit more. Saw.
Sa,
Good.
Si,
Okay,
Su.
good, good. Now let's look at some words that start with a Seen and words that start with a Sad, and we're going to ask, well, which one does it start with? Okay, the first word is Sahib. Sahib. Let's have some questions. Taha, does Sahib, does that sound like a Sad, or does that sound like a Seen?
Sounds like a salt.
Like a Sad. Okay, very good. Excellent. Good job. Okay, let's have another example. Let's look at Sudur. Sudur. Osama, can you tell us, what does that word Sudur, Sudur, does it start with a Seen or a Sad?
A Sad, I think.
A Sad. Very good. How about Sineen? Sineen. What does that start with?
A Seen.
A Seen. Okay. So, what's the basic difference between the Seen and the Sad? Feiruz, how does that sound to you? What sounds to you like the difference between those two letters?
Well, I think when you pronounce the Sad,
Uh-huh.
you have to do it with a full mouth.
Okay.
And when you pronounce the Seen, with an empty mouth.
Okay. So
Yeah.
basically, when you're pronouncing the Sad, you're going to purse your lips a little bit
Yeah,
and bring your lips forward
yeah,
with a full mouth. And then when you're pronouncing the Seen, you're going to pull the corners of your mouth back.
yeah.
Excellent. Very good. Now, let's move on to the next letter, which you're going to see, inshallah, coming up on your screen, the Dad. Okay, let's pronounce that letter together, too. Dad.
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 Okay, good. Now, the first letter you see on your right, that's pronounced Da. Say that. Da.
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 The middle letter is pronounced Di. Pronounce that. Di.
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 And the third letter is pronounced Du. Pronounce that with me. Du.
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 Now, basically we've got the Dad sound and we've got the Dal sound. And like the Seen and the Sad, these letters are similar. And basically there's the same difference between them. The Dad is pronounced with a full mouth, whereas the Dal is pronounced with an open mouth. And I think if you listen carefully to the quality of the sound, how it sounds, you'll realize that there really is a difference between them. So let's take some examples. ضاقت. Say that with me. ضاقت.
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 Okay, let's look at another example. ضرار. Say that with me. ضرار.
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 And one more. ضحى. Say that with me. ضحى.
ضحى.
Duha.
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 Okay, now let's let's look at a few words and see whether they start with a dad or a dal. Okay? The first word is deen. Deen. Ahmed, does the word deen, you feel like that starts with a dal or it starts with a dad? Deen.
Dal.
Very good. Can you make the sound that it would have if it started with a dad?
Deen.
Good, excellent. Very good. Let's have another word. Another word would be dunya. Okay? Taha. Can you tell me dunya? You feel like that starts with a dal or you feel like it starts with a dad?
It starts with a dal.
I didn't hear you. Could you raise your voice a little bit more?
It starts with a dal.
Dal. Good job. Very good. Excellent. Dal. So there you have it. The difference between the dad is that it's going to be pronounced full-mouthed, or you're going to purse your lips, and it has a kind of rich sound to it. And whereas the dal, you're going to open your mouth, pull the corners back, and it's going to have a kind of less rich sound to it. Now, let's, to really practice and bring these points home, it's always good to, whenever you hear an Arabic word, to think about the letters. And don't think just about the first letter, think about the second, the third, and the fourth letter. What does it have? Does it have a fatha, a dhamma, or a kasra? So let's look at our names and try to figure out what marks or what vowels the letters have on them. Fayruz. Okay, your name is Fayruz. Now that first letter, if you could tell us what you think it starts out, what the first letter is and what it has on top of it.
Okay, the first letter is fa, and the fatha is on top of it.
Okay, how did you know?
Because when you say Fayruz, fa,
Okay.
it
All
sounds
right.
like a fatha on top of it. Fa.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit harder one. The ra, the third letter. What does that have on it? And what I would like you to do, if you could take the letter out to see whether it's a fatha or dhamma or kasra, and then compare with what it is in the word.
Okay, when you say Fayruz, it sounds ruz, ru.
Okay.
So I think it's a dhamma on top of it.
Okay, because that sounds like ru.
Ru, yeah.
Okay, and if it didn't have a dhamma, it would be ri. But
Yes.
Fayruz, that doesn't sound like a ri. So that must be a dhamma.
Dhamma, yeah.
Okay. Fayruz at the end. What does that last letter have on it? Do you hear a fatha there? Fayruz?
No,
Do you hear a dhamma?
no,
Do you hear a kasra?
no,
Do you hear like a sound that says Fayruza or Fayruzu or Fayruzi?
no.
Okay, that's a sukoon.
This is
There is no mark there. But we're going to talk about that later, inshallah. We're going to explain it. Okay, very good. Excellent. Now let's have another name. Osama, which is also my name. So why don't you tell us the first letter of your name? What does that start out with?
A dhamma.
Okay, how did you know?
Because if it wasn't a dhamma and it was a kasra, we'd pronounce it Isama.
Okay. All right, how would it sound if it had a fatha on it?
Asama.
Okay, very good. And it's Usama. Okay? All right, very good. Good job. Let's, okay, that's enough. And inshallah, when sit down by yourself or sit down with your friends and take your name and try to figure out what each letter has on top of it. And so you can get some practice. Inshallah, that's enough for this episode. And inshallah, we'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.